Chapter 9. The Seven Centers of Consciousness. In the Living Love system, we use a seven-step scale that will enable you to measure your pattern of growth toward higher consciousness. This scale consists of three lower centers of consciousness: security, sensation, and power, and four higher centers of consciousness: love, cornucopia, conscious awareness, and cosmic consciousness. These centers act as filters that generate your particular private experience of the here and now in your life. Information coming into your biocomputer from your eyes, ears, and other sensory receptors, plus the memory banks of the brain and the thoughts generated by the rational mind, are processed through these programmings. These programmings determine your own unique experience of the here and now. The emotional areas of the brain trigger various feelings as called for by your addictive programming. This in turn feeds back and intensifies your particular flow of energy and thought patterns. The lower three centers of consciousness were developed for survival in the jungle phase of the evolution of our species. In general, the automated priority of awareness in an animal is to first check incoming information for its security aspects, then its sensation, food or sex, possibilities, then its threats to the power boundaries with which the animal identifies. For example, a cat may be operating on the sensation level, enjoying a meal, when an unexpected noise may instantly activate a security consciousness that prepares the animal for fight or flight. All this is done on an automated basis without conscious thought. In spite of the fact that the potential for higher consciousness is available to us as we leave childhood, we often remain trapped in these automated responses of security, sensation, and power consciousness. For example, when we use our security programming, we automatically trigger the experience of fear. If we don't get the sensations we desire, we automatically trigger a frustrating, disappointed feeling. And if our power, pride, or prestige boundaries are violated, like automatons, we instantly trigger the experience of anger, hostility, irritation, hate, etc. We often combine two or more of these filters simultaneously to create our individual picture of the now moment. One of the benefits of the seven-step consciousness scale is to enable you to see your drama from a perspective so that you can choose the filters you wish to use in generating your experience. This conscious choice of programs is not available to a young child or an animal. Young children and animals are trapped in their automatic programming. To see your drama clearly is to be liberated from it, so that you do not have to compulsively act out the subject-object scripts of your jungle ancestors. A beautiful aspect of the consciousness scale is that each time you go up a step in the scale, your life gives you 1. More energy, 2. More contact with people, 3. More enjoyment. An important characteristic of the three lower centers is that you can never get enough to enjoy your life continuously when you are using the security, sensation, and power filters to interpret the here and now in your life. You can use these filters to make limited improvements in your life, but out of the billions of people who have lived on Earth, no one has experienced enough security, enough delightful sensations, and enough power to be continuously happy and fulfilled. The experience of enoughness only starts as you begin to generate your consciousness more and more from the fourth center, the love center. The reason why the lower centers cannot bring you enough is that they cause constant distortions in perceiving people and life situations. These centers keep you from loving unconditionally and make you relate to people as objects instead of as beings just like you. They make you waste energy compulsively running toward or away from situations. These lower centers subject you to simultaneous multiple addictions that conflict with each other and require the biocomputer to do something about the heavy emotional overload. When overloaded with conflicting addictive demands that are not being satisfied, the experience of the here and now is grayed over with repression, anxiety, depression, and dullness. These emotions are used by your biocomputer to slow you down and keep you from tearing yourself apart with conflicting demands, desires, and expectations generated by your security, sensation, and power consciousness. It should be remembered that life in a jungle frequently poses the threat of instant death to its animal inhabitants. We have a beautiful white cat that purrs and is most loving to the people in our house. When this cat goes out into the yard, however, it will crouch down, stalk, and kill birds if it can. The automated response patterns of any nearby birds must be able to handle the life or death aggressiveness of the cat when it plays out its jungle programming. We have nervous systems that were evolved over millions of years to cope with this immediate threat to life. It has probably been quite a long time since you or I were actually threatened with immediate death, but these mechanisms of fight or flight that were so protective in the jungle are still operating in our biocomputers. They may be helpful if you were in a boat that overturned and you had to swim 1 mile to a nearby island. This threat to your life, when processed by your lower 3 centers of consciousness, would bring about autonomic nervous system responses that would enable you to swim in a way that you've never been able to swim before. But in over 99% of your normal daily interactions with people and life situations around you, these fear, disappointment, and anger emotions are not helpful in enabling you to get the most enjoyment and effectiveness from your life. For example, if someone criticizes you, your angry response will tend to bring you additional criticism. Stuff you might avoid if you could just consciously hear the criticism and perhaps ignore it if inappropriate, or use it if it fits. The 7 centers of consciousness should be used as growth tools and not as another way to criticize yourself or to generate an experience of inadequacy or inferiority. You do not need to fiercely attack yourself because you caught yourself on level 3 when you decided to spend the day on level 4. No part of the living love system should be used addictively to create expectations that make you drive yourself, berate yourself, complain about yourself, or anyone else. The living love way works best if you simply stay with it and notice in a quiet, accepting, meditative way where you are from moment to moment. And remember, where you are is perfect for your consciousness growth. You shouldn't be anywhere else, here and now. You simply notice what is happening in your moment-to-moment stream of consciousness as seen from the vantage point of the living love way. And each time you use one of the living love methods, you will find that you are becoming more peaceful and loving in a situation that previously would have resulted in your emotionally thrashing around and upsetting yourself and others. On the next page, you will find a summary of the 7 centers of consciousness. It will help you if you will learn the 7-point scale so thoroughly that you will feel, without necessarily analyzing it, which center of consciousness your biocomputer is operating on at each moment. In the next 3 chapters, you will find detailed descriptions of each center of consciousness. The 7 centers of consciousness. 1. The security center. This center makes you preoccupied with food, shelter, or whatever you equate with your personal security. This programming forces your consciousness to be dominated by your continuous battle to get enough from the world in order to feel secure. 2. The sensation center. This center is concerned with finding happiness in life by providing yourself with more and better pleasurable sensations and activities. For many people, sex is the most appealing of all sensations. Other addictive sensations may include the sound of music, the taste of food, etc. 3. The power center. When your consciousness is focused on this center, you are concerned with dominating people and situations and increasing your prestige, wealth, and pride, in addition to thousands of more subtle forms of hierarchy, manipulation, and control. 4. The love center. At this center, you are transcending subject-object relationships and are learning to see the world with the feelings and harmonies of flowing acceptance. You see yourself in everyone and everyone in yourself. You feel compassion for the suffering of those caught in the dramas of security, sensation, and power. You are beginning to love and accept everyone unconditionally, even yourself. 5. The cornucopia center. When your consciousness is illuminated by this center, you experience the friendliness of the world you are creating. You begin to realize that you've always lived in a perfect world. To the degree that you still have addictions, the perfection lies in giving you the experience you need to get free of your emotion-backed demands. As you reprogram your addictions, the perfection will be experienced as a continuous enjoyment of the here and now in your life. As you become more loving and accepting, the world becomes a horn of plenty that gives you more than you need to be happy. 6. The Conscious Awareness Center. It is liberating to have a center from which your conscious awareness watches your body and mind perform on the lower 5 centers. This is a meta center from which you non-judgmentally witness the drama of your body and mind. From this center of centers, you learn to impartially observe your social roles and life games from a place that is free from fear and vulnerability. 7. The Cosmic Consciousness Center. When you live fully in the 6th center of consciousness, you are ready to transcend self-awareness and become pure awareness. At this ultimate level, you are one with everything. You are love, peace, energy, beauty, wisdom, clarity, effectiveness, and oneness.